Siamo in compagnia di Noel Biderman, il fondatore e curatore, insomma, del sito ashleymadison.com, piattaforma leader in America per incontri, scappatelle extraconiugali, quindi una piattaforma per persone sposate che vogliano trovare amanti, se così possiamo dire. Siamo qui con lui per fare una breve chiacchierata e per insomma raccontare la nascita e le particolarità di questa esperienza. La prima domanda che farò è ovviamente in inglese. How did you come up with the idea to create Ashley Madison, and why did you choose this name?
It was a journalist's fault. I read a great article back in 2001 that talked about how many people were pretending to be single when they weren't. They were using online dating sites that were designed for single people, and were really preying on the unexpected and unsuspecting. And so I thought, wouldn't these married people prefer a home of their own? And that was the genesis of the idea behind ashleymadison.com. And as for the name, you know, I didn't think noelbiderman.com had the right ring to it, but really what I wanted to do is I wanted to build a service that centered around women. I thought that was going to be the cornerstone of success, and so the way we designed the website with the pinks and the purples, and the way we created the communication platform, and so the brand itself, I wanted to be very feminine. Ashley and Madison were the two most popular girls' names in America at the time, and I thought that combination would be a great, great brand.
What are the reasons for the success of the site?
You know, ultimately our success, I would like to claim, is because we're such a talented company full of talented people, which we are, but it's really because of who we are as a species. We are not programmed to be monogamous. It's just not in our DNA. And so we're kind of set up to go down this path of needing to have extramarital affairs. And if I'm going to be there as a catcher's mitt for these affairs, my business is bound to succeed. And I think 14 million members in 22 countries kind of proves that out.
Who are the main competitors?
You know, my true competitor at the end of the day is the workplace. That's where the majority of affairs still happen in the world. People meet each other at work, they have a work husband, a work wife, they spend more time actually with their colleagues at work than they do their own partners, talking them all day. Is it any wonder that sometimes they fall into an intimate relationship? I think in the online world, my biggest competitor there, surprisingly, is a place like Facebook, where people kind of get into the wrong environment, a product that's not designed for discretion. And so my competitive landscape has always been the rest of the world, because affairs happen whether or not Ashley Madison is present. What I have to convince people of is, if they're going to have an affair, to do it in my community and not in the places where they have historically.
In Italy, the Catholic Church has a strong influence. Do you see this a restraining factor?
You know, I think while there's a strong influence there, I think it is a waning one, right? I think as society continues to move forward, they adopt less and less of the ritualistic notions of religion, and they tend to be more focused on freedom and the things that make them happy, whether those are premarital sex issues, whether that's the use of prophylactics. All of those kinds of things have evolved over the last few decades. And so, yeah, I don't believe it's an inhibitor for us growing our business. Will they complain, meaning will the Catholic Church complain about the presence of Ashley Madison? Absolutely they will. But I think they need to focus on their own internal issues rather than worrying about the rest of the world and how it goes about its private sex lives.
Why do people cheat?
I think what it comes down to, for the most part, is an intimacy void, right? There isn't a single scientific study out there that I've ever seen that says the longer you're with someone, the more you love them, and the greater your sex life gets. Every study I have seen says the exact opposite, that the longer you're with someone, the less sexually attracted you are to them, the less you have actual sexual relationships with them. And so is it any wonder that so many men and women wake up one day saying, oh, I'm not a nun, I'm not a priest, I didn't sign up for a life of celibacy, I need to do something about it. And so once that notion trickles in, those people realize they want and need to do that, but they also don't want to get a divorce. They're not prepared to leave behind their children, their economic situation, their extended family, everything else that makes them happy in life, except what does or doesn't go on in their bedroom.
What is your typical customers on Ashley Madison?
Yeah, I don't think the way to really look at that question is, you know, who wouldn't be an Ashley Madison customer? It's everybody. Both genders have affairs, every socioeconomic group, and every culture in the world it's been documented. I think there are some cornerstones, right? We have a lot of single women, for example, on the service in every country we've launched into. You know, married women who 10 years into their marriage feel so lonely even within their own marriage, they can't believe it. They are languishing back for the day when they were pursued and proposed to. That's what they want to kind of find again, and that's what they can find from an affair. And on the male side, single men join our service, married men who have had their first child, men who now see more of an empty nest situation because their kids have gone off to school or now themselves are living independently. I think really the entire world has affairs, and every age group and every kind of walk of life you can think of.
What is your view on Italy and Italians in relation to cheating?
You know, I think Italy is going to play out just like it has in every other country we've launched into. I think women are going to use this service more so than they have in the past, and so infidelity rates are going to rise because of the internet in general and because of opportunities like this. I think as a result, men are going to follow suit and come to the service, and ultimately more and more people will pursue more discreet affairs on sites like Ashley Madison than they have previously, let's say in the workplace or, you know, meeting people in bars.
Is there a difference between men or women cheaters?
Yeah, I think women are a little more crafty around their affairs. They tend to be caught way less often, and so that's why sometimes the data shows a real disproportion between how many men have affairs and how many women. You know, women don't shoulder a lot of the economic responsibility. They don't book the hotel rooms. They don't necessarily buy the gifts or set up the dinners or pay for them. You know, but ultimately, you know, men and women come to affairs from different angles, but it works perfectly. Men want to pursue and feel like they still have it, the ability to seduce people, and women want to be seduced, and it works really well.
What do you answer to people that say that you promote infidelity?
I say that it doesn't need any promotion. It does a great job promoting itself. My role, Ashley Madison's role, is to help people have a more discreet, perfect affair, if you will. And so I don't have to convince anyone, and nor can I. Not in a one-to-one conversation, not with a TV commercial, not with a radio ad. You can't convince people to have affairs. It doesn't work that way. What you can convince them of is to use it or have it in a community where everybody knows what they're getting into.